Hey, this is John from Pint Comics, and if my co-host Lloyd was here, he would tell you a couple things about this show. Number one, we swear way too fucking much. And number two, we drop spoilers without any warning. Now that you know that, listen in and enjoy the show.
Cleveland still live up on East 100. The older one, he owns limousines.
Yeah.
How great is that? Operates out of Charlottesville. Every time I see one pass through town, or on the way to the airport, fucking June, fucking prom. And you don't own the
Where are your
Pint.
children?
Home. The sitter.
Let's get back in your car.
What?
They never called the police.
Welcome back to another episode of Pint Comics. My name is John. With me tonight, the officer, the law, the sheriff of Pint Comics, Mike. Mike, what's going on?
Great to be here again. Happy to talk about these movies.
That's right. Laura, the redheaded stranger.
Hello.
Internet stranger, how you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. What's new?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
No, nothing at all.
No. We just had a lively discussion about soup. This is how you know we're not in our 20s. It was a good 8-minute long discussion about soup.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the soup. That went on for a while.
Yeah. So this is a Pint Movie Invitational episode. As I've mentioned the last few times, it's ending. December 31st, we're stopping doing where you choose the movie and we talk about it. Starting next year, I pick the movie, and you still can come on and we'll talk about it. Now, Mike has an interesting situation because this is technically Mike's third picked movie. We did Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey and Frank Whaley last year. A couple months ago, we did A Simple Plan with Bill Paxton. And you're going, why didn't I never hear that? Because I lost it. My computer died. So I said to Mike, look, do you want to pick another movie or do Simple Plan again? We'll get around. I'll pick Simple Plan next year. We'll do it anyway. He said, we'll do another movie. His first choice was Halloween 3. We couldn't do Halloween 3 because we did a video episode of Halloween 3 last year. Okay. So I said, pick something. And I said, please pick something non-horror. Here's the reason. We're recording this in October. I have watched nothing but horror movies all month long for the most part. And unusual for us, but because I lost episodes, the last couple episodes we've done, the last 3, have all been horror-centric. And I'm just fucking tired of talking about horror movies. Plus, we recorded a horror episode earlier tonight. So he said, okay, let's do... And we'll tell you in a second. Kind of a horrific movie in terms of like with the situation, but still a lot of fun to talk about. Mike, what movie did you pick? Why did you pick it?
I picked Blue Ruin. And I picked it because I heard some good things about this movie, knew nothing about it. The director and the star were not famous at all. And I walked away just awestruck. It just grabs you from the beginning. You go on this crazy wild ride, and we'll get into it, but I can really connect with this character.
Okay.
This is not Tom Cruise who's doing crazy things.
No.
And this is also not like Schwarzenegger or Stallone or somebody that was, is pretending to be like, somebody living in the suburbs, but shock, he's actually a Green Beret. No, This is a regular Joe, and you can actually understand what's going on. You understand his motivation, and it fuels what happens.
All right, that's fair. Laura, you've seen this film before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I have too. So let's get into it. It's Blue Ruin. 9/22/13, September 22nd, it came out, Austin Fantastic Fest. And then its wider release was April 27th of 14, which was mostly video on demand. This didn't have a big theatrical presence. It was made for $420,000, and I think it looks great.
Oh, yeah. It's a gorgeous movie.
Gorgeous movie for $420K. Like, I if you said to me, what would you think this was made for? I'd say $1 million or $2 million. I mean, there's nothing fancy about it, but it still seems like it should be more than 420, right? It made 258K in the US and Canada, but worldwide 993. So almost made $1 million. So this movie definitely did pretty well. Filmed in and around Delaware and Virginia, and it actually takes place in Delaware and Virginia. Written and directed by a guy named Jeremy Saulnier. You might know him from Green Room, which was after this.
The sequel, yep.
Kind of
His next movie.
His next movie, also a color title. Great movie, by the way, if you've never seen it.
Oh yeah, Green Room's awesome.
It is great, and it's
Patrick Stewart. Oh my god.
Patrick Stewart as a neo-Nazi. Good. And one of the last performances from Anton Yelchin, which is really fucking sad. That whole story was really sad. He also did a Netflix movie, which I meant to watch and I never did, called Hold the Dark, with Jeffrey Wright. Now you're shaking your head. No, didn't work.
It wasn't that great. No.
Okay.
Oh wait, I did see that.
It's nowhere near as good as these two.
No, that was not good. I didn't like that.
No.
It's not about wolves, right? It's
No, because I was looking through his IMDb page and I was just like, I don't think I've heard of this movie, but now I did watch that. Yeah, that wasn't that great.
It's not that great.
all right, well, that's disappointing. I won't watch it. But
And Jeffrey Wright's great, but the situations and everything are like, which is so funny. These two, both Blue Ruin and Green Room, are so you can actually, understand the characters, get to know them, and the shit that happens in that movie is just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
it's just you don't really
Jeffrey Wright, you're like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah,
There's no connection
leave.
to the characters. You don't see anything deeper about them, and then
Yeah.
you're making bad choices.
Blue Ruin and Green Room are very grounded in reality.
correct.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's do the cast real quick. Mason Blair is the star. Macon Blair.
Macon.
Like bacon.
Yeah, Macon like bacon. Blair. It's the star of this movie. He plays Dwight Evans. I don't know if he's named after the famous Red Sox outfielder, but he was in Green Room. And he was also in the Swamp Thing TV show that was very recently canceled. He played the Phantom Stranger. If you're a DC fan, he is writing and directing the Toxic Avenger remake.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a director. He did a movie I've never seen, but people keep telling me it's good on Netflix called I Don't Think I'm at Home in This World Anymore.
Oh, I've heard of that. I haven't watched that.
It's Elijah Wood and I can't remember who else, but I guess he wrote and directed that. Who else here? Devin Rattay plays Ben. You might know him from R.I.P.D. with Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges, but probably not. You probably know him better as Buzz from Home Alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
30 years later, he's still out there kicking. Amy Hargreaves plays Sam, the sister of the Dwight character. Law and Order SVU and Homeland. She's kind of a TV actress, I guess. Kevin Kolak plays Teddy Cleland, also on Law and Order SVU and One Life to Live. And then we talked about this right before we got on, the just surprise out of left field, because I saw this movie before I mentioned it. But in the role of Chris Cleland, K-R-I-S Cleland, you might know her from I wrote Jan Brady, for fuck's sake. It's
right.
It's Eve Plum from the Brady Bunch. It's amazing. Like, because she looks very methy.
50 years?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I mean, if you
Right?
take away like the character's look, which is methy kind of, dirty backwoods, she doesn't look bad. She looks well aged, but like, I don't know how I didn't recognize her because it's Jan Brady.
But she's also in like, has her face in a grimace and she's just being a bitch.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
terrible.
all she's doing is like yelling and like cursing and pointing a gun at him. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jan Brady doesn't do that.
No.
No.
Jan Brady's just pissed off all the time because of the Marsha factor.
She's the middle child. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a middle child, Laura, or no?
No, I'm the older sister.
You're the older sister. Okay. All right.
So you picked on people.
No, my sister is way more important than I am.
Wow.
Is this based on your parents' opinion or? Well, we're not going to open that here.
All right.
Laura had a moment. She's like, you know what? Like, can we turn this off and talk for a while?
Yeah.
I feel like I want to talk about something right now.
Right.
I'm gonna go into my therapy session.
Remember-
I have
remember
stuff
the-
to talk about.
Remember the soup.
Yeah.
Remember
I'll just think about
the
my soup.
Just think about my soup. My soup is all kinds of colors, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that a good line? No.
So, first question. I actually do have a question for you, Laura. Mm-hmm. So here's the idea behind this movie. We meet the Dwight character. Mm-hmm. first, I'd say 20 minutes of this movie, there's minimal dialogue.
Yeah, there's really no speaking in the first.
Okay, Dwight essentially is this homeless-looking guy, right? And he essentially is homeless. He's living in his powder blue Bonneville, kind of by the boardwalk. We get an idea. He scurries for food. He kind of goes to the garbages, and he's just living this life, right? And you know, you don't really know why.
But he gets in a good bath here and there.
Yeah.
Pretty
good.
So in the world of like crime, there's like serial rapists and serial murderers, and Dwight is a serial bather. Yes. What Dwight does,
worse crimes.
There are worse crimes.
No, yeah, for sure.
Dwight waits until you and your family are gone. He goes in your house and he takes a bath.
That's why I just got a security system.
I was going to say. Now I wanted to bring that up. So I have two questions for you.
Okay,
Laura, I'm gonna go to you initially. How would you feel if you came home and you found nothing missing but clear evidence that someone had taken a bath in your bathroom? Would you be able to live in that place any longer? Because as I watched it, I thought, I don't know if I could stay there anymore.
I would be able to stay there if I knew that he wasn't always inside the house.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you hear stories about there was somebody living in the attic and they came down while you were at work.
Yeah.
And if I knew that it was a one-time thing, I could stay there. I wouldn't like it. I'm not.
But you would have your security footage to be like, oh, he jumped back out the window. Okay.
I guess so. That's right.
Yeah.
If I saw him come in and he just like really needed a bath, like I guess it's the least I could do for him.
And he needs a shave.
And he doesn't look dangerous or anything. And
Puppy dog eyes, yeah.
I guess he could bathe in my bathtub.
I guess.
Like, I guess.
Damn it, I didn't lock the window.
Mike, how did you feel about that? Like, I also thought, and I think it's plot driven, but at first I'm like, why is this guy taking a leisurely bath? And then I realized because he wants to be able to hear if people come home.
Yeah.
If you're in the shower, you can't hear shit as well.
Oh yeah, that is a good point.
But I
didn't think
also
of that.
I took that as, you know, so I've watched the movie several times, love it, and I took that as his character. It's kind of showing us his character is like he's not just a bum.
Right.
Because, you know, he actually is trying. He takes steps to be decent. Like he's not breaking in and like stealing all their shit. He literally just wants to take a shower or a bath and, you know, get clean now and again, you know, kind of just live his life. And I think it's kind of a hint that he's not just a drunken bum.
He makes a comment to his sister later in the movie when she says, you know, he says, I saw you and your little girls like on vacation. And she goes, why didn't you say hi to me? And he goes, I was a mess.
Yeah.
Like he knows that like that could be off-putting, or, you know, he doesn't I get what you're saying. He doesn't want to appear that way.
No.
All right. So we get to meet Dwight and we kind of learn his routine in the beginning of the movie. So the first question, Laura, for you is, and I don't know why I thought of this, but like, as you're watching this movie, did you want to fix him? Did you want to help him? Was there anything like, did you have a feeling like for this guy? Like, cause I like, even like heterosexually, I'm like, I want to take care of this guy. Like, I feel like,
I like that you put that first.
yeah. So like, I don't know. Are you the woman that likes to fix guys? Cause I think Dwight would be
We're
like,
really getting into my therapy today, aren't we?
Come on now.
Yeah.
Guys,
That's my
don't
fatal
bother.
flaw.
She's going to say no. Leave her be.
it's her fatal flaw, she said.
No, he has a very like sweet face.
He does, right?
Yes, I would like to help him. Like
See?
I'm a bleeding heart.
Okay.
I can't help it,
That's
yeah.
fair. We learned a couple things about him. He wears his keys around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Keys to the Bonneville around the neck. It's very important. You see him several times putting the chain on and off.
Yep.
Cop comes to the car while he's sleeping in it.
So the car is parked on the side of the beach, and he's clearly living in it.
Right. He's got a little canopy built to the side of it that he can, like, you know, kind of sit out, you know, or whatever. Cop pulls up. Now, as viewers, we think the first time the cop is like, you know, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get busted.
But then it's made very clear that this cop knows he's there and tells him, I have to bring you in. We have to talk about something.
And that also kind of shows his character. Like the cop knows he's not a threat. Like
Right.
obviously he's here all the time. Like this is just he wants to live quietly and privately, and at least
And they let him.
police are letting him do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So they bring him back to the station and they tell him, you know, right off the bat, almost like he's a kid, like, you know, you're not in trouble. What do they tell him, Mike?
That his parents' killer is getting out of jail. I think it's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
either
next
Tomorrow
day,
yeah.
or okay, next week, yeah. And then he just freaks out. He just goes wide-eyed, You get the kind of his POV and everything goes quiet and he's just freaking out.
We didn't know anything about this to this point.
No.
And it's an interesting thing because most revenge films, you think that it's the wife, the children, stuff like that, not necessarily parents.
Right.
Murder, yeah.
Nope.
Especially like from an adult point of view. It doesn't seem like many adults are avenging their parents' murder. I guess except Batman.
Yeah, Batman's
Okay.
never going to stop. Newspaper headline we see at one point, it says it happened in 93. And we kind of get through one of the things this movie does really well is tell you the story without any actual dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right? So like there's one point where like you really pretty much figure out between him and his sister talking that like as soon as his parents died, he left.
Yeah.
He left them, the sister, and he left the family or whoever was left over and just went vagabond and said, fuck it. He's just, that's how he's going to live. Now, there's nothing in this movie that makes you think it takes place in any different time period. So it's been like 15 years.
Yeah.
Plus, probably.
I think 20, right?
20 years, yeah,
Mhm.
that he's been essentially off the grid. I think that's a really good quality this movie has is that if you could fill in the gaps just from little bits here and there.
Well, it's smart. You don't need the dump of dialogue so somebody stares right in the camera. It's a smart movie where you learn that along the way.
Yeah, there's no
it's all
exposition
deliberate.
dumps.
Yeah, it's very deliberate, everything that happens.
So what does he decide to do, Mike?
Well, we don't know, but he starts getting himself cleaned up. So up to now, he's had a huge bushy beard.
Well, no, he still has the beard.
And his car's been stuck, and he starts to clean up. He starts trying to get his car able to get on the road. So we know he's going to do something.
Right. He needs a gun.
Well, that's what he thinks.
Yeah. He goes to a gun shop or, I don't know, he's in some weird like trading post or something looking at all the guns, but he's got nothing. Like he's got a coffee can of money in the back and it's not a lot of money. So he decides, and I thought this scene was pretty ingenious. He goes to like a Trumpy kind of like country bar, right? And because he knows there's going to be guns in these cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he makes sure the music is blaring, and he goes and he checks inside of a couple of different vehicles, and he smashes the window out of a truck, and he gets a gun safe out, a small little portable gun safe. Takes it, drives down to kind of back to the beach or whatever, opens it up and discovers a problem. What's the problem with the gun, Laura?
Well, there's a gun lock on it.
There's a gun lock on it, trigger lock.
On the trigger guard, yeah.
Okay. Gun lock. I don't know gun stuff.
No, I know. Yeah.
It's a gun lock.
I know soup, not guns.
Yes.
The Laura story.
It's my biography.
There's a trigger lock on it. He doesn't have the key. So he takes it down to kind of this area and he uses a giant rock on it. And all he manages to do is destroy the gun.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
He knocks the barrel out of it and he can't do anything with it.
And we start to learn that he isn't, this isn't that story of the guy that's an ex-Green Beret and is going to Rambo up and go take the whole town out.
No, this is a super, I'm not going to say a pacifist, but this is a non-confrontational guy.
Yeah, he's very passive. He's the quiet guy that you went to high school with.
Right.
That, just unassuming and...
Yeah. Super quiet, super passive, but he's got to go kill this guy. So he can't use a gun, and he decides to go to the prison and wait outside for the Wade character to come outside. The family comes up in this limousine and picks him up, and they go to they go to like the fucking
Like a honky tonk.
like a honky tonk to have a big old yeehaw party.
And you can tell they're all a bunch of scumbags.
Oh, yeah, they're not good people. You
No.
just immediately get like the, ugh, like you don't want to be around these people that long.
They're the family that most towns have that people know by the name.
Yeah, like the people that you talk about when your relatives come into town.
Yeah.
Like, oh, those are the so-and-so.
Yeah.
There's 80 of them.
Yeah, the Clevelands are a bunch of filthy douchebags, and we know that. So he goes to the honky tonk, and his plan is he's going to kill Wade, who killed his father and mother. He sneaks in. Never before have I seen I thought this was great. He sneaks in through the back door when they're bringing kegs inside, and on the back door there's a clear sign that says "Keep this door shut."
Yeah.
Which, if only it was shut, he would have never gotten in. Mm-hmm. So he gets in and he kind of scopes the place out. And I thought one of the great things about this was that he is completely nervous. Like he's
shitting himself.
He's shitting himself. He's like, because he's got to get in. He's got to figure out how to kill this guy. And then at this point, he's got to figure out how to get out and get away from fucking the rest of the family.
Yeah, he's just going in blind. Like, he doesn't really have a plan.
No plan.
Like,
No plan.
got
And
a knife.
obviously, it's not something that he does all the time. So,
No.
so this scene made me really nervous because he's just walking around. I'm like, somebody's going to see him. Somebody's going to see him.
Yeah, it's
And,
it's
you
a
know,
good sign. It's a good sign of a good movie that the second time I seen this scene made me nervous again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though you know that like it's not going to magically change.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you know what's going to happen.
Like you said, good movie.
So he goes in the bathroom. He hides in the stall. What happens, Mike?
Well, eventually Wade comes in to take a leak, and he's scared shitless. But eventually he slinks out of the stall, runs over. He's got a knife, small knife, 3-4 inches, slams it in the guy's neck, and then once again, great. Unlike a different movie where he would just go down, the guy just immediately turns around and grabs him.
Oh, it just makes him angry.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
And the guy just literally his knife is hanging out of the guy's neck, and he just immediately flips around and like picks him up.
And this guy is so much bigger
Yeah.
than.
Yeah, we I don't know if we mentioned it, but Dwight is a diminutive. Like he's a small guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, average.
Yeah,
Average too.
he's average at best. He's definitely not. He's not tall. He's not muscular.
Be nice to Macon.
I like him. I think he's a good actor. As they're fighting, he suddenly gets this kind of like, this burst of strength or whatever, picks the knife back up again and right in the fucking side of the head.
Yeah.
Great effect, by the way.
No, yeah, I like that one.
He
a
hits
lot,
the ground, blood kind of spurting out of his head. His eye is totally red, right? So that's good. Something that we kind of glossed over that normally I wouldn't bring back up again, but what I thought was a great bit in this was he's in the stall watching him in the mirror, and Wade sees him. And that's what starts like the fight. Like, did you guys notice that? Because I think he was going to go out anyways. But if you watch it, Wade looks in the mirror and looks like a little bit to the left, like he sees him looking through the thing, and that's where he decides to bust the door open.
Oh, I don't think I caught that.
Just watch that scene again. I think you'll notice it.
Okay.
Because it's a good little moment. It's almost like like I don't know if Wade knows who he was, but
No, I don't think any of them would have known who he was
Yeah.
on. Like
he just
seeing
realizes
him,
there's someone in the stall looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
which
he's
would
like
creep anybody.
right.
out.
He's like looking in the mirror, and maybe he's like looking at his face, and you see his eyes move, and that's when he opens the door because I think he knows that I have to do this now.
Yeah, it's now or never.
Now or never,
Otherwise, he's gonna just kill him.
So he stabs him in the head, kills him, runs outside, trying to get to the Pontiac. He decides he's going to stab the tire of the Pontiac so they can't chase him, but his hand slips and he fucking cuts his hand all the way up. So this is the first injury we get. This guy gets fucked up through the whole course of the movie.
Oh yeah,
He's got a big cut across his hand. Gets over to the fucking the baby blue. I'll call it baby blue. The baby blue Pontiac.
A little bit of rust.
And what happens, Mike? What does he not have?
He doesn't have his keys.
He fucking lost the keys in the struggle. And I like that bit where he gets in, he doesn't have the keys, and then you do that little flashback where the keys are sitting next to the body and the blood.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that goes to your point of, they showed him putting the keys on his neck 3-4 times.
A couple times to show you where it was.
Yeah. And so the beauty of that is he's running out, he's stabbing the tire, and that's supposed to be his big getaway.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the car and he's like, fuck, I have to go back in.
He has to go back, and he doesn't go back in. He ends up getting in the limousine, which he just fucking handicapped.
Yeah, deflated
He
the tire,
spots
yeah.
tire.
Gets down the road. The hillbilly Clelands come out and start shooting at him and all this stuff, yelling at him. He gets about halfway down the road, and all of a sudden he hears something from the fucking back seat. Laura, what does he hear in the back seat?
He hears the younger Cleland. I guess he's the youngest one that we see.
Yeah.
And he's startled by him, and the kid gets out of the car.
Yeah, he pulls over immediately. Kid gets out of the
Yeah,
car.
because he wasn't like in it to hurt anybody else.
He was just
at
like
first,
passed
yeah.
out in the back or, maybe smoking weed, whatever.
Just being an annoying teenager.
And it's the first time in the movie, and we do learn later on, but it's the first time in the movie we hear this a couple times from the Clelands that, he says, "Did you hurt Wade?" Dwight says, "Yes, he hurt my dad." And the kid says to him, "I don't think he did." Right? Like that's like a big moment there. Cause now you're like, especially as a first time viewer, you're like, is this guy, did he kill the wrong guy?
Yeah,
Like,
it puts like this doubt in the back of your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause
And again,
you want to
your
follow
point,
him.
Amazing storytelling.
Yeah.
Because that's it.
And then he runs away.
Yeah. And we all have to assume because the cop said the guy that killed your parents, this throws that doubt in it.
The guy who went to jail for killing your parents, that's the only thing that we have as a definitive.
Yeah.
But now we're wondering, fuck, And the first time you see it, you're kind of wondering, is that what this movie is going to be about? Is he like going to find out that like there was someone else? Or it does come out later who it is. We'll talk about that. And it's not as big of a plot point, but still, this is the starting blow of a war that's going to go back and forth. And that's brought up several times to them. Like, when is it fair? You know, like, I've got 2 of yours, you got 2 of mine. When are we going to end this whole thing?
Yeah.
And we kind of show that, you know, it's never going to end.
Yeah.
So he decides that he is going to break into another house, right? And he stitches his hand, or he fixes his hand up. He finds some nice duds, right? He gets on some nice clothes. There's a scene of him watching the news. You're watching some TV, and you're just kind of like, the first time you're like, what's he looking for, something good? You kind of realize afterwards what he's looking for, and he talks about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Shaves the beard off, cuts the hair, and goes into a suburban neighborhood. Who is it in the suburban neighborhood?
His sister.
His sister. Sister, who apparently they never say it, but you're assuming it's divorced, maybe?
Yeah, you never see a husband or
never any
father,
talk of a
yeah.
husband at all.
No.
And 2 little girls.
Yeah.
And she's very surprised to see him, and she takes him out like for breakfast.
Well, he's also just standing at the edge of her driveway, like in the bushes, and she just sees him when she's backing up her car, I think.
Yeah.
And we
Jarring.
go back to your point from the beginning of the movie. This is more of we know now nobody's seen him for 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
And that's point of the discussion. Like, literally, where the fuck have you been?
One of the first things she says to him, which turns into a major plot point, is you're owed money from the estate, $2,800, which he says no to, which is so weird because this guy, it just goes to show that he doesn't want anything. He's fine with the life he's living. He's eating out of the garbage.
Well, because he's broken. His parents are dead, and he's just broken.
Right.
He
Yeah,
doesn't.
his brain is just not functioning the way it should. Like, he's literally in survival mode.
Yeah.
And
And
just bare
probably
bones.
that would be money from dead parents. Like,
Yeah.
he probably doesn't
Yeah,
want it.
yeah, like that might be something like it's money like from his parents' murder, and he doesn't want to
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah. And she also says, and this is the more important part for the plot, is that the Pontiac is registered here. And why don't you just take it and get that fixed? And he doesn't really say anything about it. But we get the scene where she takes him out to breakfast, and they have this like heartfelt discussion. And, it's a great scene where, he says he got out, and, okay, I know, I heard about it. They sent me a warning and a restraining order and all this stuff. And he tells her, I killed him. And I love the sister's reaction because it's not like concern, like you killed someone. It's, I'm fucking glad he's dead, which I think that's a realistic reaction.
Yeah.
I really like that. Did you feel that was like real?
Oh no, yeah, that was very genuine and sincere. Like I feel like that's more along the lines of what any normal person would react. Like nobody's gonna clutch their pearls and gasp like, "Oh my god, you killed someone!" Like, yeah, that's if somebody killed my parents and somebody told me that they avenged their death, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
Here's some soup. Here's some soup for
Have
you.
some soup.
I made you some black soup.
Yeah. So, but then
This is another great moment in that is he has a fucking realization right then and there. And what is it?
he flashes back to the car. Where's the car registered? Because he took off in the limousine.
He left in the limousine. He left the car there.
The Blue Ruin.
The blue ruin.
Titular Blue Ruin.
Oh fuck! Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
blue.
Deep thoughts. Deep thoughts.
Oh fuck! I just thought it was like a song title. You know how sometimes a song title just has nothing to do with the song.
Blue Bayou is in the background.
Oh fuck! Blue Ruin is the car.
You can edit this out.
No. Well, I mean, let me ask you a question. Do I sound stupid saying that? And I mean, I'm going to leave this in no matter what.
No, I don't think so. It's definitely one of those titles that could be just innocuous and sound cool. And yeah, they use a lot of blue in the movie.
There's a lot of blue tint in it, and not saying that's what I thought it was, but
Well, not even tint, just like a lot of just things in the background are like strikingly blue, especially like when he's avenging things.
Right.
You kind of see a lot more blue, which is really cool. But I don't think it's a stupid thing not to realize it's the car.
thanks for making me feel better. He's looking at me as if like he's like, you're stupid. No, it's okay.
You know what a
That's
green,
my-
you know what a
that's
green
my-
room is right now.
I know what that's in the fucking movie, right? All right. So he comes to the realization while they're eating that not only can the car be traced back to them, to the house, to her house, because that was the parents' house. But also her kids are there. And also that's why he didn't see anything. They never reported it.
They didn't call the cops.
They never called and that's a great line. He goes, they never called the cops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she drives back to the house like a fucking crazy person, which anybody would. Nothing
Calling
has
the
happened.
babysitter, like
Yeah, babysitter's not answering because the babysitter's outside doing what she asked her to do.
Mm-hmm.
They get back and they're safe, but he now knows. So he tells her, you got to go to Pittsburgh. Whatever Pittsburgh is, it's got to be some other family or something.
Yeah, we don't know what Pittsburgh is.
Take your fucking family, go to Pittsburgh. So she takes the family, she goes to Pittsburgh.
And now she's mad.
Oh yeah, she's
She's
fucking
like,
mad.
you fucked us.
Yeah.
Especially because the kids are brought into it.
Well,
now.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got something real to lose. He's got nothing.
No.
You know, him killing Wade, if he died right then and there, you know, they're even and he's done. And, you know, not that a life is worth any less, but he literally has no ties.
Mm-hmm.
He could die and nobody would know, right? Nobody would even miss him and because nobody knows him anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. And now we get another great flip on a classic scene. So he's waiting in the house. And again, if he was an ex-Green Beret or whatever, this would be, you know, where he booby-trapped the whole thing and he's got 29.
Like Home Alone.
Well, yes. He's got a gun strapped to his leg and 5 knives and all that other stuff. But no, he doesn't know what to do. So he just turns off all the lights.
Looks at a yearbook.
Yeah.
Turns on the faucet. Was he trying to fool someone into thinking he was in the bathroom? Or
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a distraction. Like, they'll focus on, like, oh, somebody's upstairs in the
yeah.
bathroom and, you know.
So they show up in his car.
Yeah.
They show up in the Blue Ruin. I feel good saying that now.
It
feels good,
rolls
yeah.
right up in the front of the
Now
house.
you're just like, yeah, Blue Ruin.
I knew it all along.
I was just joking.
Just joking, guys.
You guys are stupid.
You guys are dumb. Go eat your soup, Laura.
I will, gladly.
So they roll up and they're scouting the place out, and now he doesn't, you know, what do I do? They come and they start to break into the house. There's a great moment where he hides behind the couch and he has a flashlight that he can't shut off. And it was making me my butt was like clenching because I'm like, they're going to see the fucking beam. And they don't. And there's something that happens in this scene that maybe the first time I didn't really think hard about, but then this time it made more sense. It's like one of them has a crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like that's a weird weapon. Then I thought it's a silent weapon.
It's perfect.
It's a silent.
Wait, stop. You said that a little too fucking like
Laura's used one before.
No, I wish I had used a crossbow before. I've always wanted to shoot a crossbow.
Okay. All right. She's just like, it's the perfect murder weapon. Trust me on this.
Christmas gift.
Yeah. Let's chip in and get Laura a crossbow for Christmas. So one guy shows up with a crossbow, one guy shows up with a gun. They come into the house and he skates. He tries to run out and he sees the Blue Ruin. I'm going to say it the whole time. And he knows that there's another set of keys in the house because she mentioned that earlier. He's just going to steal it back. He runs outside. All of a sudden, he starts getting assailed by crossbow bolts, right? They're not arrows. They're bolts. You hear it. He's getting shot at. One of the other brothers comes out with a gun, or?
Well, he has a shotgun, I think.
Yeah, he has a shotgun. Yeah. He runs him over. Mm-hmm. And then he takes this part of the movie kind of bothered me because there's still the guy with the crossbow, but he takes an unusual amount of time to drag this guy into the car.
Yeah, I always feel really uncomfortable when characters in movies are just doing things way too long.
But he doesn't, because the guy in the crossbow, though, is across the street. Because there's people waiting for him. It's not like they run back out around.
Right.
There are people waiting for him, which is us getting to see, like, this is a whole, like, group.
Right. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not just, like, one dude.
So the crossbow guy wasn't in the house as well?
No, I think they both had one.
Oh, okay.
Because like he's dragging, and that crossbow bolt comes out of nowhere and just nails him in the leg.
He gets a shot in the leg.
Yeah.
Well, we hear it first, and then the second one hits him, which
Yeah.
I really like. Because
Right.
that sounded, because the first time you watch it, you're like, "What the fuck was that?" And then you're like, "Oh, perfect weapon."
He very effectively portrays someone shot by a crossbow.
Oh yes.
Because boy, does that look fucking painful.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just half sticking out, and he looks down.
It's a great moment in the movie because again, we're not talking about John Matrix from Commando, you know, or Marion Cobretti from Cobra. We're talking about this guy. So when he gets shot with the crossbow, you ever have a moment in your life where you get hurt and you're like, "Fuck, I wish that didn't just happen." You know, like you're like, "How dumb that just happened."
Every time we get hurt.
Yeah, you know, like
every day I feel like that.
Like I remember one time when I was younger, I cut myself with a knife. And I was like, fuck, I would do anything to go back 2 seconds ago to not do what I just did.
Yeah.
And he has that reaction like, there's a fucking crossbow bolt in my leg.
Yeah. And he has the same thing like you do with a knife, because like for 2 seconds you just look at it.
Yeah.
And then it just bursts out with blood, and you're like, fuck. And he has the same thing. He just like looks at it for a second, and he's like, fuck me.
He drags the Cleveland, one of the brothers, into the car. He doesn't put him in the trunk either. He puts him in the backseat, which made me very nervous.
Yes. Anytime a body is in the back seat and not a trunk, you're like, the cops.
We don't know where he's at. Yeah. And we don't know where he's at. So he gets in, he takes off. Now he goes to a all-night pharmacy because he's got to figure out what to do with this. Well, first thing he does is yeah, Laura, what does he do? Yeah, I forgot.
He saws off like the excess crossbow arrow that's sticking out of his leg, and like you can just feel it moving back and forth as I'm like gesturing and hitting things.
It's
now.
fine.
He hacksaws that shit.
Yeah,
He uses the car door to pin it so that he can hacksaw it. But then when he goes to take it out, he has to use like a pair of pliers to get the head out. Do you think it would have been like, okay, I'm going to ask each of you. Mike, you're shot in the leg with a crossbow.
But he can't go into the pharmacy with a crossbow hanging out of his leg.
Okay, all right. You're ahead of me. Because my thought is like, are you going to keep the whole bolt in your leg and try to pull it out that way with leverage, or are you gonna try to get it out?
But he's also smart enough to know, because if you were just going to pull it out, you'd pull it out like right away.
Right.
But he's smart enough to know that like he has to have bandages and stop the blood.
I also
he pulls it off.
I also don't think he realizes how hard it is going to be to get out of his leg.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah.
And a crossbow being a perfect weapon.
Perfect weapon.
The bolt is probably going to jam on some bone or something in there.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation. So he cuts it. He uses a hacksaw. He cuts it. That looks terrible. He goes to the pharmacy, which I think is a great scene because he's just all kinds of clammy.
Oh yeah, he's gray,
and he's
literally
gray.
Gray. Yeah,
You
sweaty.
feel like like when you're just have so much pain and your entire body is just cold and sweaty and like you just don't know what to do and your eyes just sink into your skull. You feel that.
Yeah. I think we've all been there. Maybe not shot with a crossbow, but like you're super sick.
Yeah.
And you got to go to the pharmacy.
Or you stub your toe really badly.
Yeah. Is this a thing?
Wait. That's a little okay.
Laura, is this a problem? Are you one of those people at night, like you walk into is there a door or something that always gets you? Or
I wear steel toe boots all the time, so I don't stub my toes constantly.
Okay, fair.
I was gonna say, so you're like taking shit out. You're not stubbing your toe.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to Laura's house, there's just a bunch of broken fucking like furniture legs all over from where she smashes through them.
Pretty much.
So he gets all the stuff he needs. He goes back and he starts to do this self-surgery. And again, because this isn't like some fucking action movie, what happens with the self-surgery? He ends up fucking like going to the fucking hospital no matter what. Bleeding all over their fucking walls. I had an accident with my leg is the line, I think. And they bring him in, and I guess they do surgery on him, or they just
I think they pull it out and then they stitch him.
Stitch him up.
He just passes out.
He wakes up, his leg is all stitched up, and very much like the vagabond he is, he just fucking gets up and leaves. Right? Yeah. He's in the hospital gown. He goes back, he finds the Blue Ruin, which is the car in this movie.
Yes.
Okay. He goes back to it. Which, by the way, we haven't mentioned yet, still has a fucking guy in the trunk, right? He put the guy in the trunk now.
Yes.
So he kind of like knocks on the trunk and the guy starts kicking and screaming. How does he decide to go see the friend, Mike? His high school friend. How does that happen? Because that's his next move, right?
He knows he needs help. Because he's smashed the gun accidentally. He's fucked everything up.
Right.
And he knows that this guy knows. I mean, probably the only guy he knows. He's certainly no Rambo or genius himself, but he knows that this guy knows weapons and other things. So he goes to him for help. And he actually, it's a child. We get to see or realize it's a childhood friend. And, they start talking about, we haven't seen each other in forever, et cetera, et cetera. And then the guy's like, and then Macon Blair is like, I need real help.
Yeah.
I have something to talk to you about.
Yeah, because the guy's like, hey, we'll get some beers and hang out. He's like, nah.
No, this is not what this is about.
Yeah.
One of the sad parts of that interaction that I've noticed is Dwight says something about his car, his friend's car, And he's like, yeah, I put about 200 miles on that hanging up missing posters for you after you left.
Yeah.
And like that kind of like cements it. Like, yeah, they were really good friends and he just really left and did not tell any. Yeah.
Just ghosted.
And not even, and it even goes a little bit further than that. It's not like he said to everybody, you know, this fucked me up, I'm leaving. Missing posters means he just left.
Yeah, he did not say
He did not tell anybody anything. Mm-hmm. Right? They literally think he's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you find out that this guy was he was an ex-military. He was some kind of like operator or something. Like he knows enough about enough.
And now he's like a guard.
And he's like a bartender,
Security guard or whatever.
security guard, yeah, at a metal club.
Bouncer.
And they kind of at this point, you know, he says, "Look, I'll help you out. You know, I don't want to know nothing. Just I'll help you out." And at one point, he kind of makes a joke about how, like, at first he was like, "I was going to call the cops initially because I didn't know what this was all about." But he tells him, he goes, you know, they go through this whole process of what kind of gun are you comfortable with, and he gives him a rifle he thinks will work well. It's the A-team gun, by the way.
Yeah, so because it comes back to again because this guy he knows nothing.
He's inept.
He gets a bolt action single shot rifle.
Right.
That he can't screw up, and it's not an automatic weapon.
And also his friend gives it to him because it's a gun show gun, he says, so there's no papers and nothing to be traced back to him because his friend is actually being really careful about this. Yeah. Like he seems to.
Oh no, he's smart, and there's a comment he says there too that, like, you know, Dwight asks him, he says, "Have you ever killed anybody?" He says, "2 on purpose." Mm-hmm. So you know this guy has seen shit, and you know maybe even hasn't done great stuff. You know, he tells him, "I got 16 acres, so you know whatever you need to do, here's where you want to do it." Dwight takes some water, opens the trunk, and we have this great back and forth between him and the what was the name here?
One of the family, a guy.
Kevin Cleland, who is one of the brothers. Essentially, they just have a back and forth. And Kevin is the second person that says that Wade, the victim, the guy who he thought killed his parents, did not kill his parents. They have this great moment where they have this understanding between the two of them where the person who has the gun tells the truth, right?
Yeah.
And he tries, I don't know if he tries to shoot him or not, like to hurt him, but he takes a shot at him from like fucking like 2 meters away or like 2 yards away and totally misses.
Yeah, way too close to miss.
Way too close to miss. Like I think he might have been trying to shoot him in the arm or something to give him a warning.
Like scare him.
Yeah.
But what ends up, Laura, what was the story behind who actually killed the parents?
Dwight's father was having an affair with the Cleland mother.
Yep.
And the Cleland father, Big Wade, he's the one that discovered them. And to avenge, I guess, them disrespecting his marriage, he decided to kill both. Well, I think he decided to at least kill the father, and the mother was
there as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was the reason, Mike, for Little Wade taking the rap and Big Wade not?
Because at the time, Little Wade was clean, and he knew Big Wade, because this is a family that's been selling drugs, in trouble all the time, and he didn't want his father to go to jail for the rest of his life.
And Big Wade was sick.
Yep.
And they knew that he wouldn't do well in prison.
He wouldn't make it.
So they didn't want him to die.
He took the rap.
Yeah.
So Little Wade took the rap. But still not a good guy. So we don't feel bad.
I also really like the fact that, like, even though it's a revelation to us as the viewer, it doesn't feel like they were it's going to be hard to say this, but the fact that the mother was sleeping with Wade is like, you know, oh, like, wow, you're finding more out about it. But it's not like a plot twist, or it doesn't add anything to it. You know what I mean?
It's just, again, it goes to the acting, because Macon Blair, it just breaks him. You know,
right.
Because he's like, he doesn't want to believe that, because, you know, these were his sacred parents, and now you're finding out that your mom's cheating on your dad.
But he's known that for so long that now you're going back and you're going, this is another part. He didn't just leave because they died, but like his whole life was fucking destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who knows how long in the history of everything, how long was it before they found out and they got killed? So there could have been a year that they knew that mom was like, you know, was like fucking this guy.
Well, no, the dad was fucking the mom.
The dad.
Dwight's father was...
Right, the mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Macon Blair is awesome in this.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yes.
I'd like to see him in a lot more stuff. He's not in a ton of stuff.
He's in Green Room. And he was in his other movie, Murder Party.
Oh,
I haven't watched Murder Party. I just know he was in it.
he was in that one that I did not like that was came out last year during COVID. A lot of people liked it. I just didn't care for it. The Hunt or the
Was that the left wing, right wing?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. He played one of the characters in that, but he's really good.
Yeah,
He's really good. So we get this conversation between the two, and at one point, Kevin gets the upper hand on him. He fools him, and he's about to kill Wade, right? Or he's about to kill Dwight. He's got him on the ground, and this isn't just one of the best scenes in the movie. This is one of the dopest scenes in the movie I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. So he's got him on the ground, and he's basically like, you know what, you fucked up, and he points the gun at him. As soon as he actually points the gun for the kill shot, you hear, we all know what it is. Like, I knew what it was the first time. But it's still super fucking cool as fuck to see his head fucking explode.
Yeah, that's a good shot. That was really cool.
Because you realize fucking, what was his name? Ben has been covering him with a sniper rifle. And he obviously, this guy is used to some stuff happening, because as he's coming, he's like, I had to wait till he pointed at you with the gun to make it legal.
Yeah.
Like, he knows. Like, this guy knows.
I wonder if that's more of a moral code or a legality thing.
He definitely was concerned about the legality.
Because I think it also shows a little bit of his character that, like, he wasn't going to just kill some guy just for the hell of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. Yeah. They end up, like, kind of cleaning everything up, and he determines you can't have that gun. Like, that doesn't work. You couldn't. He even says, he goes, you missed from a fucking yard away. That's pathetic. So he gives him a scatter gun, basically, that carries 5 shots. And at that point, he basically tells him, you know, I've done all I could do. I've kind of taught you a little bit here. You know, you got to do whatever you're going to do. And they talked a little bit earlier about a Polaroid they had of the two of them together. And I thought this was another pretty interesting line where Dwight tells him that Polaroid, burn it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want anybody to have any kind of, like, you know, he doesn't want him to know that he knows him.
Yeah, like no connection.
No connection
to anybody, yeah.
So he takes off, and now he's heading for the final showdown with the Cleveland family. I was sad he threw up, because that dinner looked good.
Yeah, I don't like watching people throw up, and he threw up a lot.
He threw up quite a bit.
I know,
So he has a nice steak dinner.
White.
It was very milky.
Yeah, it was very milky.
Very milky.
Ugh.
He stops for a good steak dinner at a little restaurant. He has a glass of, like, red wine.
Yep. He's getting ready.
Well, he's getting ready, and I'm also wondering, like, do you think, character-wise, that's his last meal? Like, in his head, this is my last meal?
Yeah, I think he knows.
Yeah, he knows he's probably going to go down.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, taking him out, but he's not going to make it.
So he heads out to the house. Mike, kind of walk us through that.
There's some kind of compound or something that the Clevelands live at.
That's a good description. It is. It's like in the middle of the woods.
And he parks his car way off, and he starts creeping in. And it's kind of classic woods compound. There's piles of there's like deserted cars. There's piles of wood. There's strange things covered in tarps. And he's just kind of
oil drums.
Yeah.
And you see that he comes across a body of water, a little pond in the back. He then slowly creeps up behind this house, ready. And again, you know, here's the flip on the action movie. You know, he's ready to take everybody out as best he can, etc. And then there's no one home.
Nobody's home.
He comes in the back door. We do a lot of creeping, and no one's home.
It's also very suspenseful. I don't like it when people walk around other people's houses when they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Makes me nervous.
Kind of half expected him to take a bath.
Yeah. He should have. It would have been his last bath. Oh.
Again, as we know. Don't spoil it, Laura.
Sorry.
Yeah, so he waits. Did they ever say at what point he makes that phone call? Did I miss that? The voicemail?
Yeah, he steps outside because remember he was standing close to the answering machine and it kept like getting feedback on the cell phone.
Oh, okay.
So he kept moving further and further outside of the house. And
Okay.
That's when he made the...
So he's waiting in the house, and all of a sudden, a car pulls up. And he's kind of hiding.
He was in the house for like 2 days, though.
2 days.
He was in there for a long
Well,
time.
I don't know if it was
At least he was in there for like at least a day.
Yeah.
Like a night and a day. Like, he was in there for a long time. They did not come back right away.
So it was, again, to the anticlimactic action movie. He ends up falling asleep. He's crouched like ready behind the couch.
Okay, I do remember him falling asleep.
He's like, I'm gonna plug somebody as soon as they come in the door, and then he falls asleep.
Yeah, and
because
the timed lamp comes on, and it startles him awake, and like he thinks they're home, and then he realizes no, the lights just came on, and then when they turn off in the morning, it wakes him up again, and he's going through their photo albums, so you kind of see them as a family, like barbecues and like happy pictures together, but at the same time, you're like, fuck these people.
Even shitty families are families, Laura.
That's
true.
Mm-hmm.
So they finally do come home, and this is a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great scene. They come in like all fucking like methed out and crazy. There's three of them.
Yeah, they're real amped up.
There's the brother who had the crossbow, I think, at the house earlier, and then the two fucking meth head aunts, the sisters, they're both a couple of like fucking creepy looking women. One of them being fucking Jen Brady. They come in the house all fucking hot and bothered, and they go right to the fucking answering machine, and they play the machine.
Well, he was calling the phone when they were outside, so he wanted them to think the phone was ringing.
Oh,
He's sitting
okay,
with
all
his
right.
cell phone calling it, so they rush in to grab the phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I watched this late last night. So towards the end, I think towards the end I got a little tired. But and they go to the machine, and essentially on the machine, Mike, right? He's just saying like, when does this end? Right? Yeah. I've got two of yours. You got two of mine. Is it over? Is it ever over? And then I think this is a fucking great part because like it's kind of shot like they're in the background, he's in the foreground, hiding behind the couch or the wall. And in the message, he says, "Just leave my sister out of it and her kids." And the fucking brother goes like screams like, "That's why we're fucking going to Pittsburgh." As soon as he fucking says that, Laura, what happens?
Oh yeah, he like cops out from behind the corner and just shoots at him.
He fucking blasts him, hits him, blood against the wall. The sisters turn around and they're just fucking harpies, right, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're just screeching.
They're fucking screeching, like one long black hair and all greasy looking.
Yeah. Yep. And he fucks up again.
Yeah, of course.
Because he pauses.
He pauses, but he does kill the brother.
He kills the brother.
He shoots him in the head, puts him down.
But again, it's a regular Joe, so he doesn't go around plugging women.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All day. So he pauses. And then
they're screaming at each other for a little bit.
Yep.
Kind of a back and forth. And then Jan Brady fucking loses it. And she has enough time to go to as we all have, I'm sure you have it in your apartment, Laura, under the
Barcalounger.
under the Barcalounger shotgun.
That's where I keep my crossbow.
Okay. The perfect weapon.
My perfect weapon. Well, actually, I want to bring this up. We didn't mention this, but part of him preparing the house while they were gone was him going around collecting all of their guns that they had stored in secret places. So we think, as the audience, that he got all the guns.
That he's safe.
We do not expect that gun to be under the recliner or whatever.
Yep. So now I can't remember. Now the young boy who was in the limo earlier is coming around with a shotgun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's watching
He's watching it coming around. And then she goes for her shotgun. Does he get shot first and then kill them? I can't remember how it goes.
The son, the younger kid, teenager, whatever, he shoots Dwight.
Okay.
So Dwight's like slightly incapacitated. So now he didn't really ever have that much of an upper hand.
Right.
But now he definitely does not.
He's bleeding pretty heavily from the rib stomach area.
Yeah.
And he also has a realization about the kid, Mike. Who's the kid?
He thinks that it's his, I guess it would be brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my father's son.
Yeah.
And
then there's this middle piece because Jan Brady just screaming at the kid to just finish him off.
Right.
And he's like, no. And there's just this tension again for a great amount of time.
And you could tell the kid is just not into this family. Like, he's like the one good egg, maybe.
Yeah, and that could be that he's not completely a Cleland.
Blood.
Yeah.
He doesn't have all the DNA.
Yeah.
He's got some of that Evans DNA. So Dwight gets shot. Jan Brady goes for the gun. And he finally gets, he kills them both, right? He shoots them both, but he also goes down. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much where we kind of leave this off.
I just want to say something about that scene that I just really loved. When the answering machine message is still playing in the background and he's kind of like monologuing and talking, you hear little like snippets of what like he's saying on the answering machine. And the last thing that he says is, "Sorry to bother you at home." I just think that's so, like, I don't know.
It works for that character.
Yeah. Sorry to bother you at home. Like, yeah, you're in their home, like shooting at them.
You're murdering them there.
Yeah.
So he's on the ground. Everybody's dead. He tells the kid, my car is parked. I think he might say it before he goes down, right? He's like, my car is parked out in the brush. Go take it and get the fuck out of here. Like, start a new life. He hits the ground. He's shot. And he's essentially... Does Jan Brady shoot him or no? Does he get shot a second time?
I think he does.
Yeah, because he's fucked up, but I think she hits him again.
Yeah, I think that's what actually brings him
kills
down.
Him,
yeah.
right. Because he's on the ground and he's like kind of got his hands up and he just keeps repeating the keys are in the car. The keys are in the car. The keys are in the car. The movie ends essentially there. He's going to die. They go back to a shot of the sister's house and it's like a little stinger of a conversation they had about a postcard he sent, which shows up way late. Mm-hmm. Mike, let me just think how I want to phrase this. Are you satisfied with the ending? Did you want... There's a part of me there's a part of me, okay, I'll tell you, there's a part of me on my end that I know the story is the kind of story where he's going to have to die because he already is kind of dead as a character, right? Mm-hmm. He's lost his life essentially. And him doing this isn't going to make him a better person or gain that back. But we just followed him for an hour and a half and we like him, right? So I'm kind of sad that he died too. That's a part of the story. We're supposed to feel bad when someone that we like dies.
I think so.
So is there any part of you that's like, I wish he had lived or I hope?
I don't think you wish he had lived, but I think, what you get from that final shot of the postcard coming through the mail slot is if that postcard had gotten in on time, everything wouldn't be as crazy as it was. The sisters and the sister and the children wouldn't be in trouble. It wouldn't have been, all, the whole family fighting. He expected to probably die killing little Wade and then, or just immediately get caught and, get thrown in jail. Yeah,
because initially he was going to kill him outside of the jail. And if he'll get shot by the cops or whatever.
Yeah.
Or prison guards, whatever.
Or, and that was the point of the postcard, to just say like, hey, sorry, to the sister, sorry. Mm-hmm. And, and that was the thing is had that come earlier, maybe, and the plan would have been cleaner maybe, but it's just this, it's a noir. It's things just keep spiraling and spiraling and spiraling worse.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing really ever goes right so well.
Yes.
It's kind of a real life revenge thriller. It's not. It's everything fucks up.
Every Schwarzenegger or Stallone movie where, again, hey, I'm just a regular Joe. And they're like, oh, you killed one of my family members. Like, I'm going to go unlock this Foot Locker I have in the basement. And it's got my M16 from Nam. And I go take out like 700 guys.
Yeah, like when I watched, I hadn't seen it in a long time. I watched Commando last year around, I think it was on Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving night, I was like bored, COVID. So like nothing going on. And I threw it in and he goes to like an island at the end and kills everybody on the island.
Yeah. Like
he kills an entire fucking military force at the end of Commando. I'm like, I love this shit as a kid and I still love it, but fucking yay, man. Fucking hey, this is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, so the modern one, which I don't think you've seen yet, but Nobody.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
It's fucking great, but they do still do that cop out that he's, like an ex-master killer.
Right.
So which is, again, this is, antithetical to all those movies. It's the same thing, but it's the same plot, but it's antithetical to it because he doesn't know anything and he doesn't know what to do. And I look at it because, I mean, you like the character anyways, but I always think that probably would be me.
This is how I would get revenge.
Yeah. And I
terribly,
would not. Yeah,
I would die at the end.
It would be terrible. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to, I don't know Kung Fu and all these other, and I don't know every weapon that I would ever come across that I could do it. I wouldn't know how to, set up booby traps in the house and all this other stuff. So, this would be ugly.
Yeah. And this is ugly. It does not end well.
No.
It's a melancholy movie.
Yeah.
It's certainly, it's a great movie, but it's certainly a melancholy movie because, you feel for his character and there's never any real progression. I mean, the thing that brings him back to life technically is his desire for revenge, which is going to just end in the end of his life and other people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's gutted by the fact that he realizes that it happened because his father was cheating.
Right.
It wasn't just a random crazy dude killed my parents.
Right.
My dad fucked all this up.
everybody's actions had some sort of consequence in this movie, and none of it was good.
Yeah, and maybe the real victim in the whole thing in the end is the sister.
Yeah.
Because how can you be comfortable, like, even if you read in the newspaper this whole family just got wiped out, it's like they probably have more family. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
I've got to move. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to go far away. You got 2 little kids.
Yeah.
You know, one of them apparently has, what was that thing? At the beginning, was that an asthma thing for the kid? She had like it had a surgical mask over the little girl and like a pump. The first scene we meet her.
Yeah.
I was like, is that an
It's I can almost hear the word in my head. I don't have asthma, so I don't know the terms. So it starts with an E, embolizer. No, that's not. No, it's not a word. No,
that's wrong.
I made that up.
That was not even English.
It's close. You're right. It's something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah. So it's sad, but it's great and it's heartfelt, and you feel for him the whole time through, and you're with him the whole time through.
Now, do you prefer this over Green Room or vice versa?
I prefer this over Green Room slightly.
Okay.
But it's funny because I think this is I feel I'm more of a Dwight. But the funny thing is I really like Green Room, and so Scary Larry Dwyer has spent some time in bands, driving around in creepy vans, going from shitty places to play music, etc. And he just latched onto that in Green Room, and he was like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like when you go to fucking shitty honky-tonk in the middle of nowhere. So he latches onto Green Room a little bit more. But for me, I like this. I love them both, of course. But
do you have a preference, Laura, over the two?
Again, yes, I also love them both. I'm going to pick Green Room just because I really love Patrick Stewart and Anton Yelchin.
Especially when he's a Nazi.
I love it when he's a Nazi. Oh, that's no. I don't like Nazis, so I have to say that.
Just Patrick Stewart.
Just Patrick Stewart.
Pint Comics does not agree with Laura's views on Nazism. Patrick Stewart, sure, he's cool. All right, I think I prefer this one over Green Room. I like Green Room a lot, but Green Room is where this is like an unpolished kind of like, like we talked about, like kind of like the Idiot's Guide and how not to get revenge. Green Room is a little bit more of like a realistic, but I guess hyper-sensualized, like kind of horror. Not even horror, but you know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on in Green Room, you know?
Yeah, like there's an evil that's hunting these people down.
Right.
And I think that's what kind of aligns it with horror movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's rate this. 0 to 5, Pint of Comics rules, quarter and half scale optional. Ladies first tonight. Laura, what do you give 2013 or 13's Blue Ruin? Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this or not, that's the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the Pontiac.
Whoa. Oh, that's so cool. That's the title of the movie.
That's the title of the movie, yeah.
It all comes together.
That's why we listen to podcasts.
Yes.
For this kind of breaking information.
And
I'm telling you right now, someone who hears this is going to go, I
tell
didn't
your
know
friend.
that.
That was the car, right? Duh.
We had a moment on the QT, which you guys both guested on. Thank you as well for that.
You're welcome.
Laura was the first guest, Reservoir Dogs. You were the last.
I was the last.
Once upon a time in Hollywood.
We're the bookends.
You're the bookends. But there was a moment in the Pulp Fiction episode. I don't know if you guys listened to it or not, but where I've seen Pulp Fiction a million times, and I don't know if it was Lloyd. It was Lloyd who brought up something that I had never fucking noticed before. Is that Marcellus Wallace, the second gun, when Bruce Willis goes back to his apartment and John Travolta's character's taking a shit, and there's a second gun on the counter and he kills him. Mm-hmm. Marcellus Wallace is walking back, and that's when Bruce Willis hits him with the car. He was going to get donuts and coffee for them because he was the second person in the apartment. None of us got that ever.
Really?
No.
Why would he have just been walking so close to the apartment?
I was going to say the exact same thing. He's just strolling down the road.
He's not the kind of guy that walks anywhere.
Maybe I am. I'm sure we've all had those moments.
I'm sure I have a million. I'm so oblivious to everything.
And Shane, who was the guy who was the guest on that, who's seen the movie like fucking 50 times, we're both fucking mind blown. Mind blown. I'd never put those two things together. And I'm not going to watch a Tarantino movie for a while after that.
You kind of burnt out, aren't
But the next time I watch Pulp Fiction, I'm going to be like so satisfied at putting that together. All right. So Laura, I'm sorry. Your score is 0 to 5.
I'm going to go 4.5 with this one.
Ooh.
I think it's a great movie, and I've enjoyed watching it these couple of times. I watched it twice this week just because I wanted to watch it a second time. But Yeah, it's the narrative is great, and you just get to know the characters just with their actions and so little dialogue, and the movie just looks gorgeous and with the blues and the colors, and you really feel like you're kind of there just watching everything happen, and it just sucks you in. It's a fantastic movie.
All right, we'll leave you last, Mike. Officer Mike, it's your movie. I'll go second. I'm 4.25. I really like this movie a lot. $420K, budget is unreal. Again, not unreal. This isn't Blade Runner 2049, but it just looks so much better than that small amount of money movie-wise seems to be.
Yeah.
Macon Blair is fantastic in this. He didn't get nominated for anything, which is amazing. Maybe some small stuff, I don't know. But he plays such a sympathetic character, and so much of his acting is done entirely with his eyes.
Very sad eyes.
Very sad eyes. This guy is the
puppy.
He's again, as I was saying, do you want to fix him? I felt bad for his circumstance. I felt bad for everything. But yeah, it is not like some bullshit. There's never a sequence in the movie where you're like, that's Hollywoodized.
He hung up a paint can at the top of the stairs.
Yeah. Hangs up a paint can at the top of the stairs. Or
everybody does.
The second perfect weapon.
Yeah. Laura's creeping me out. But anyways, Officer Mike, what do you chose it? This is your last pick. Until we bring the format back. It's the last pick. What do you give this movie?
So I'm going to agree with Laura that it's a 4.5.
Okay.
So it's not a perfect movie, but for the budget and for what it is, it's amazing. It's so amazing for a first movie, and to be that polished and that tight. And to do something so different, so it would be so much easier to just make a straight action movie, where Macon Blair was a badass,
right?
Explosions everywhere.
Yeah. But they made something amazing out of it, and it's so it's so underwatched and it's underappreciated, and I tell everybody to watch it. 99% of everybody always walks away unbelievably impressed. One person I knew said, "I don't know why you made me watch a guy on the spectrum slowly get revenge." I was like, I don't think that's what it's supposed to be, but okay. To each your own, buddy. To each your own.
All right, and I should have mentioned this at the very beginning, but if you've never seen Blue Ruin, as of right now, as of recording time, it's on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, you can check it out. So yeah, that's it.
I just want to say, before I had actually seen the movie, I thought this was a surfing movie for a couple of years, and that's why I only watched it last year for the first time.
You're like, I don't care about some surfer movie.
I really thought it was a surfer movie, and then it wasn't, obviously.
It certainly is not. Before I watched it last year, it was on my Netflix
queue or whatever.
Yeah, you should watch for fucking ever. And I'd seen Green Room, and I didn't realize it was the same guy. And I think Scary Larry is the one who told me you should watch Blue Ruin. And I did, and I loved it. Yeah. And I was super psyched that you picked this because it's a fucking great movie.
It really is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
All right. Well, whenever it comes back, 2024.
Yeah, maybe. We'll do a year without it, and then
I hope he does another color coded movie, and then we can do that one.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll just start. What does the color mean?
It's the fucking car, apparently. All right, so Pint of Comics, you can find this week after week after week. Every week a new episode. We do a lot of fun stuff. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on Libsyn. That's where we're hosted. Pint_O_comics on Instagram. At Pint of Comics on Twitter. And Pint of Comics on Facebook. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!